It's now a pleasure to be joined by Scott George and Doug Nye, and this truly amazing 550 Coupé. Scott, you're from the Collier collection. Can you tell us a little bit about this car?
This is the culmination of about 8 years restoration, and we've rescued it essentially, or been able to restore it. It was a large effort, and now it's back to exactly its configuration that it ran in 1953.
Doug, it would be great to hear a little bit more about that. Obviously, the car has enormous success. Can you tell us a little bit about it, please?
Yeah, actually, this little car here is terribly important in Porsche's history because as 550 Chassis 01, it can be described as being the first purpose-built competition Porsche. So what you're seeing here is kind of the germ seed that became the 917 and the 962 and all these other wonderful things. The Porsche factory, were into promoting the brand through racing in a big, big way. And when the Carrera Panamericana race in Mexico was first dreamed up in 1950, it was a race that really made the Mille Miglia in Italy look like a midget. And they ran it from 1950 to 54, 2,000 miles on public roads through Mexico. And you can imagine the heat, the altitude, Mexico City, 7,500 feet, and then long straights over the Mexican plains. Some of the straights are 20 miles long, all under a blazing sun.
Yeah.
So you needed a car that was very quick in a straight line and one that would protect its occupants. And they thought these little coupes would be a good idea. And they ran the coupes at Le Mans, 24-hour race. And they ran them in the Carrera Panamericana as well.
Well, the special side of it was that Porsche was designing these to build extremely lightweight racing cars. They didn't have, it wasn't a tremendous power plant, it was 1500cc roller crank engine. So everything else on the car was to me as light as possible. And if you look inside, if you could see some of this, the details, everything that they drilled for lightness. Everything is made, all the door frames, everything, of course, as with a lot of the Spyders, all aluminum, as with almost all, but extra thin material on this car to be as light as possible. The roof material, all the fenders, only 1 millimeter thickness alloy. And anything steel that had the strength to it, they could still afford to lighten, they've drilled. So every component, the brake pedals, the gas pedals, the clutch pedals, the everything in here has been drilled to the nth degree to save every little bit they could. And so the lightness, the fact that Porsche just looked at every detail for lightness is so important. And that's what they made them successful with such small engines. They had with 90 to 100 horsepower or something to be able to compete against cars with much more than that was that power to weight ratio.
That is a wonderful car. And can you imagine what that looked like in 1953 when all the production Lincolns and Chryslers that the Americans had taken down to Mexico? That turns up a mid-engine sports car. They can't have seen anything like it, and that was long before the Italians went mid-engine. Absolutely revolutionary.
In many ways, they were absolutely the bedrock, the foundation of the competition Porsche.
Yeah.